Hey everybody, this is Justin here from the Hangfire Podcast, and we also have a special guest today, Steve, also known as FlipSideCT, joining us. Hi, Steve.
Hey, hey, everybody. Good to see you. Well, good to see you on, yeah, the new way to do things. Yeah,
This is the definition of social media right now, isn't it, Steve?
yeah. This is definitely different than sitting at the bar.
Yeah, well, I'm having a drink, it's a mystery drink, but this is a special occasion, folks. I don't tend to do this many live streams, but it is a special week. Still, we're still kind of hung over Hackney Diamonds. I guess everyone is still listening and still watching. So that's really the point of this. Is that Steve and I got together a couple weeks ago for a video that you'll see very soon. But when we were talking, we were like, hey, when Hackney Diamonds comes out, let's have a chat about it. And if you guys haven't checked it out already, but Steve has already put out his review of the album on his channel, and it's a fantastic review. And once that went up, I said, well, now Steve, we got to get together and just hang out and just chat and talk about the music. But that was a hell of a review you put up. Was that
Thank you.
you've not necessarily put up a review for an album, because I mean there haven't been too many new albums that have come out. Like, did you put one up for Blue and Lonesome, for example?
No,
No.
in fact, it was maybe a half a year ago that I even bought the album.
Oh, is that right?
I didn't even listen to it. So many people said, and I was listening to Mark Maron. You know
Yeah,
Mark Maron? Yeah, he
sure.
was talking to Keith and saying how great of an album it is, and I said, I gotta get it. Anyway, so
It's
yeah,
a
so
great
I didn't do anything review it. I haven't. Yeah, I guess in
that
time it would come. As I move along, I'd get there.
that's a great interview, isn't it, with Mark Maron?
Yeah, yeah, with Keith. Yeah,
He
and
has his
Keith
first
was good
cigarette.
with Jimmy Fallon for the
Yeah.
for that whatever 8 minutes he had.
Yeah, absolutely. So while before we get really going, I do want to say hello to everyone who's showing up here. Janice, hello, how are you? Thanks for joining us again on this wonderful chat and seeing you again. I'm doing very well and very happy that you're here with us just to hang out. Sal, is that you? Hope it is. Good to see you here and back. We're here also waiting to get going. We have some people. Make sure you say hello and tell us where you're from, because that's always nice to say where you're from and to hear where people are saying hello from. Hello, Guitarded77. I hope I'm saying that right. Hello from Sweden. Oh,
Ah,
Hans Janssen. I believe you were with us last time. Hello again. I'm so glad that you could join us again. Brendan, hello. Oh, Brendan, were you calling in last time during our call? I hope you were, because you were a lot of fun. While I'm also saying hello, feel free to continue saying hello, everybody. I do want to say that I always want to say this, Steve, the lines are open. I sound like Larry King. But everyone, pay attention to the screen down below, because you'll see that just like last time, I have a little way to call in and for everyone to kind of say hello and for everyone to send a message. And if you'd like to say hello to Steve and I, go to speakpipe.com/hangfire. And there you'll have a chance to record a 90-second message to us. You'll see a red button on there. You'll hit record, and you're going to enable your microphone, and you're going to record a message, and we're going to play it live here. So heads up that when you do submit, we are going to play it live here. So your voice will be online. So just want to make sure everyone's aware of that. So make sure you say hello. We're going to be playing it throughout the night. Let us know your thoughts on Hackney Diamonds. What are your favorite songs? All that stuff. But
it's not
yeah,
just about us; it's them
no,
too. Yeah.
it's exactly right. We want to hear from you guys. So make sure you say hello. Again, the address is down below in the tracker down below. It's speakpipe.com/hangfire. But yeah, so Steve, I have to say that first of all, I was surprised that your review came so quickly. I mean, I have to admit that because I knew I had to put my review up somewhat soon myself, and I said, "Oh, geez, I wish I had a little bit more time, for it." So I saw your review go up, and it was very extensive. And I have to say, I'll get into this as we talk, but I was pleasantly surprised that you were so and in agreement and loving this album. You were also, in a way, it seemed like you were pleasantly surprised in a
Yep.
way too. And I was so shocked about that. So tell us about that. How was your experience with it?
Well, going through, the Stones' life cycle, the past four whatever albums, going back to Steel Wheels,
Yeah.
I guess. Um, when it changed there. It sort of changed at those points a
How
bit.
so?
Uh, Lyrically,
Ah.
um, and the songs that they presented, I think it was less raunchy.
Mm.
And I preach and I praise and I worship, the eras. And as time went on, the lyrics changed dramatically,
Right.
dramatically. The metaphors were lost. We were talking before. There's some words and phrasing that was just not great. But you take what the Stones give you. That's it, and
Right.
and you have a love for it. You stay with it. It's like some cases it's like being married. You gotta love it
Right.
and stay with it. Um,
Uh,
and
on that note, did you see the live stream that they did? When they announced the album, and someone
yes,
said,
yeah,
"What's
with
the
Jimmy.
secret?" Yeah, and
Yeah.
and what's the secret of staying together for 60 years? And Keith's response was learning how to say "shut up"
Yeah.
politely.
It's such a key thing to say.
Right.
Yeah,
But I
so
love your metaphor. It's a marriage. You have to just roll with it.
you got to accept it, you take it, and eventually you do get used to it too. And that's the beauty of the Stones is there's some things that you would listen to and it's like, holy shit. This is amazing. And there's some bands that are just albums just knock you out, that just floor you. But they sort of were just growing. When I heard like some girls, it took me 5 listens in 1978, the summer I graduated high school, and I'm trying to remember what your original question was. Was I put it out early? Um,
Yeah, but also just I was surprised to see you surprised how
yeah,
much you enjoyed it.
yeah. How much are you right? That was it. Thank you. Um, I just expected a little weaker as far as lyrics. I
Hmm.
expected less, maybe guitars. I thought there would be everything would be similar.
Right.
And the beauty of the Stones is they give you all their flavors that they feel. And the last few albums, I didn't get that. It wasn't it just wasn't pow in your face. And as when I listen to this, I go, holy shit, listen to it.
Hmm.
And being guitarists, we're listening to the guitars and listening to what Keith has given me and what Ronnie's given me, and then we listen to the lyrics. But I felt the zing right away. So I said, this is just unbelievable. I got to give my input ASAP. And I wish I had more listens, but I just felt I had to do it. That's all.
No, yeah. I mean, you can't help it. Especially, there's a sense of urgency, just like what the album delivers. A sense of urgency.
Yeah.
The album has such an impact to it, and I agree with you that I walked away. I guess the first thing that I noticed was that with past albums, the peaks and valleys of how much the songs would kind of go up and down in terms of intensity. It was kind of, at least
Yeah.
compared to this, all over the place,
Yeah.
which was fine. I actually like, correction, I love a lot of the recent albums. So I'm going to be, I'm quite a loyalist or a
Yeah.
fanboy when it comes to Bridges to Babylon or Voodoo Lounge. So
Yeah.
I don't mind them. But my point is, this album, there was such a consistency of
Mhm.
intensity, of focus, and of engagement that
Yes.
you couldn't help but notice it. You were being ushered into the next song, whether you liked it or not. Just like kaboom, next, 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 next.
Yes. And, they set up the sequence, strategically, of course. Um, and to me, if I'm making an album, I want to give as much diversity as possible.
Hmm.
I would have liked some straight acoustic type songs, of course, and I'm always wishing that they did an all acoustic album of new
Aha.
material.
Hmm.
There is one thing I wish that could have happened was I wish they invited Mick Taylor in on tune.
Sure.
That would have
Yeah,
been so sweet
absolutely.
to
I mean,
hear.
compared to considering how many guest stars there were.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so it's interesting when you make your comment and how you enjoy all those albums. And for me, and I say it always, I love every album. I
Sure.
listen to one more than the other. That's
Yeah.
all. But I've been going back to Steel Wheels, sad, sad, sad,
Yeah.
and mixed emotions. As when that came out, it was like, this is like a poppy type tune, but when I put it on the headphones, I said, wow, it's cool. So did you
Yeah.
listen with headphones yet to this album?
Yes. Yes, I have.
You did, okay.
Yes, I have. And I can't. I haven't listened to the vinyl on headphones yet. I've only
Oh,
listened to the
big
digital yet.
difference,
Yeah,
big difference.
and I can't wait because I'm doing this very strategically. All my listens, for example, like I was telling you before we got on here, that my first few listens were in the car.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pace myself because I know I'm going to be listening to this album a lot. So I'm trying to diversify how many ways I can listen to
Very
this album.
important. No, it's good.
Yeah,
Just like they played, Exile to listen on the radio, where most media was at that point.
exactly
Um,
right.
but I heard total more warmth vinyl wise. I heard more dynamics listening to it with the headphones. I can't crank it yet because the wife's upstairs, so and you can't crank it because you got
I got
people next
neighbors,
to you. Yeah.
neighbors.
Yeah, right, right. But it is meant. Stone's music is meant to be loud
Yeah,
because it's such a huge difference when you hear that crunch. Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly
I'm
right.
just looking at some people. We got Ireland here, which is real cool.
Is that
We had
right? Let's say
Svenska,
hello. By the way,
Sweden.
Steve, you can hover over those comments and click the word "show" so you can show people's comments on the screen.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. We got Boston. If I hover over
yeah.
where?
Hover over the actual comment itself, and then you can see it appear the word "show." Um, I think maybe
Device
it's
added to your accounts. Let me see. Show. I don't think I see show.
oh
No,
maybe
I
it's
think
not
it's
available
you.
because yeah, just me. Okay,
Yeah.
well let me start from the beginning, folks. I
Go
do want
ahead.
to say I want to say hello to everyone that I missed at the top of the comment section. We said hello to Sweden. Hans is here. And Brendan is here. I'm so glad that Brendan's here. And I saw, Brendan, you left a message for us, which we'll be getting to in about 5 minutes or so. Greetings from Kansas. Is that where you're from, Brendan? That's cool. That's good to know. Um, yeah, heard about the Boston what? The Strangler, of course. Janice, I didn't know you were Fort Lauderdale. That's great to know. Um, John is from Bloomington, Illinois. So that's very cool. Hello from the UK. Click M. So glad that you're here with us. John is from New Jersey. Fantastic. Another fellow
I
East
grew up in
Coast.
Jersey.
That's
Yeah.
cool. What part exactly?
Union, 20
uh-huh.
miles from Manhattan. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. And then we have, I believe, was also here in the last live stream from San Diego. Um,
My daughter's in San
Ron Lovedale.
Diego. I got a lot of
Ah,
connection with everybody.
look
Cool.
at that. That is pretty cool. Hello, Isaac. Nice to see you. We'll get to those questions in a while. Let's
Ah,
see if we can remember this, Steve. But Guitarded wants to know: do you guys know which tracks Ron plays the bass on? We'll get to that in a second. I just want to make sure that it was noted. But we'll get to all those details soon. I'll put a note for it right
I have
here.
I have somebody who's close to me saying
Oh yeah.
hi from the Glucks, and we love you, Steve.
Oh
Love
great.
you also. So let me just mention this because it's so cool the people that you meet um, in this environment. I started out with being a vinyl community, meaning we buy records, we show the records. If you look on my channel, I show records I bought. They're not here, but they're all behind me in here. Records I buy. So you meet people, and then you go to shows and you start meeting everybody, and everything is in common. It's
Yeah.
unfreaking believable. So the
Isn't it
point I'm
amazing?
making is, um, my Jumpin' Jack Flash documentary. I got a comment. Next thing you know, I'm talking to him on the phone, and he's telling me his story, Sam, and he's a little bit older. He saw the Stones in '64. He saw him on Ed Sullivan. He
Wow.
saw him in Madison Square Garden in '69. He saw everything in peak. So he tells me, Steve, I got books. I want to get you these books here. Books, yeah, shit. And I'm looking here at the pile of what he gave me. I still have it. So anyway, his daughter is on here. So we became friends. We hooked
Oh,
up, and it's like we're brothers. I mean, it's like
oh,
we've known each other our whole lives.
that's fantastic.
Unfriggin' believable, fantastic. And that's what I mean. Everybody I'm looking at lists, we have such a connection with these people.
Absolutely. Here's
It's wonderful. So
yeah.
to the Glucks, of course, I'm sending my love to. And Dana is his daughter. So
Oh, it's fantastic. Well, it's amazing how social media, we're
yeah,
right here and we're connecting. Hello, Cave to Cave 70. John from
Buenos
Boston.
Aires.
Fantastic. And let's see. I want to make sure we say hello to everybody. That greetings from Northern Illinois. Edmund, how are you? How are you? Where in Illinois? Grew up in Chicago myself. Greetings from Washington D.C. Hello, David. How are you? Oh, and here we go. There is Dana Gluck that you
Yeah,
mentioned earlier.
Dana.
Hello, Dana. Glad that you're
Sweet
here with
Dana.
us. We
Give a
have
hug
also.
to Wolfie. Okay. Anyway, that's their doggy.
Oh,
Um,
that's sweet. We have everyone here, Steve, to see you. And folks, you can see in. Oh, why isn't your name tag? I think when. Okay, so when we're not showing the comments, you can see your name there. FlipSideCT is the name of Steve's channel, and there you can see his wonderful, so many great documentaries about the Stones. And this guy is the Buddha of Stones. He knows all the history and all the details about them, and so it's really cool to have him here. So make sure if you have any questions. Make sure you ask Steve, and there are many ways you can do that. You can comment like you have been doing right now. That's right, Janice. Music does connect people.
yep.
Or you can send a live recorded message down below in the
Yeah.
ticker. You can see that.
Don't be shy. Come bring it on, man. It's want to hear from you. Seriously, it's unbelievable. I have people, there's some friends who I go to. You go to a cocktail hour, and I'm trying to connect with people, and I'm talking music with them. And where do we go? We go nowhere near the rock and roll I want to go to. It's just, it's like, okay, all right, nothing in common. It's just one of those. But when you connect with people, especially Stones, you could just go on and on and on. It's just wonderful. It doesn't have to be a topic you know or like. It's just you go,
Mhm.
you know.
Oh, yeah. Whenever I hear anyone come close to classic rock, I try to manipulate the conversation
Yeah,
to inch its way over to the Stones if we
yeah,
can.
that's funny.
Like, oh, it's a coincidence we're talking about the Stones all of a sudden, even though I've been working my way through this 20 minutes now.
Uh, oh,
Uh,
there's Kelly. Kelly is a great fan and a donator, which is great. And he jams, and he's usually texting me something while he's going somewhere to play.
oh,
Um,
that's nice.
have you ever heard of Jeremy Bars on YouTube?
No, I
Anybody
have not.
who plays guitar, Jeremy Bar. He's from France, and he plays some killer uh, lessons.
Mm.
He just shows you what guitars. I'm mentioning it because I got to share it because guitar playing. Yeah, Jeremy Bares. Guitar players, check him out if you're into the Stones. And I watch him because he knows exactly the chords Keith is using,
Mm.
and he'll play 2, 3, 4 guitars at once.
Oh my God.
The guy knows his stuff.
I'm so glad that there is such a group of people out there doing that work because,
Hmm.
a lot of people like to do guitar videos for all the usual bands. And that in fact goes for any kind of video for the usual bands. There are always a lot of videos of the usual bands on YouTube. There are very few places where people can kind of enjoy stuff about the Stones,
Yeah.
particularly, So it's nice that
Do you
there's
do
that.
you watch Stone cover bands on YouTube?
Not consistently, not per se, but when I come across one,
Yeah.
that I'm interested in, I'll tune in.
All right. There's a lot out there, more than you
Really?
think. Yeah, and they're more up in age. I haven't seen young ones, and there's some that I even grew up with. In fact, I was friends with one in Jersey who was in the Stones cover, and he's the one that taught me about the open tuning and everything. And
Hmm.
I wouldn't leave his apartment. He had to really kick me out because he was just turning me on. But yeah, the cover bands are interesting.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I remember. Yeah, because you really get to figure out what it is about the Stones that do what they do, and what other musicians. Everyone has, and that's what the Stones are all about. They're in a way traditionalists, where it's all about adding your own personality to the music, as long as you keep the essence of the music intact. And so I love seeing cover bands. I remember one in particular I enjoyed was speaking of later period albums. There was I think it was. First of all, there's a band in Japan who puts out a
Yes,
bunch of
yes, yeah,
covers.
yeah. And it's interesting to hear their accent is real cute to hear that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw them do Undercover of the Night, which was
Oh, that's a good one. That's
yeah,
probably a tough one to do.
yes, very tough.
Yeah.
And one band I saw, not from Japan, but they did a great one of Love Is Strong, which is great. Um, oh, look at this, another message. I think used to live in
Stephen
Connecticut.
Fish, hello there. We got a Connecticut one?
Yeah, Edmund apparently is from Connecticut.
Hey,
Uh,
Edwin.
used to live in Connecticut. Um, but I'm happy that Dana is still here. I hope hanging out with us for the rest of the night. Sean from DC. I just spent a week there, says Sean. Dana says best Stones gig is the Orpheum, Boston 2002. Boy, uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
those
that's the
are some
40
great shows.
lick. 40 licks? Yeah.
Licks tour. Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's this one right here.
oh, very nice. Where did you get that one?
Oh, from them? From Glucks. This is part of my package he gave me.
Oh, that's so nice.
So I only get to live through Sam. He went to so many. He was at Shine a Light show in the Beacon.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
Sam just went to all of them. One day we will interview him, and
Yeah.
it would be wonderful to hear his take. It's so my one thing I didn't finish that one little story with the Jumpin' Jack Flash. He was going through some times and not great times. So he saw the Jumpin' Jack Flash, and this reintroduced him back into the Stones, his passion. He
Mm,
left it for a while, and this brought him back in, and that was the connection with him. Why?
I see.
Anyway, um,
Um, Yeah, I love those stories. We should definitely every time one comes up that's relevant, Steve, make sure you jump it in because
yeah, yeah,
it's fun to hear those connections. Let's go and how about we go and listen in on some of the messages that have come in. I think only just one
yeah,
has come in, but before we do, just a reminder to everyone: if you want to say hello to Steve or myself, but also leave a review for Hackney Diamonds. What did you think of Hackney Diamonds? You've had one full week to listen to it. So you must have some pretty good thoughts about it now. So leave a review in the link, which is SpeakPipe, one word, speakpipe.com. It's written down below in the ticker, speakpipe.com/hangfire. You can record a 90-second message that we're gonna play here for you. So up first, we have a message from Brendan. Let's say hello to Brendan.
hey, Brendan.
Hey, Steve. Hey, Justin. I just wanted to say that I love both of you guys' shows very much. Steve, you've introduced me to a whole bunch of trivia on albums that I didn't even know about. Your 3.5 hours long or however long 3-parter on Some Girls last summer came out when I was in London. I was blessed enough to see the Hyde Park show, the second Hyde Park show in 2022 in London. And I was watching all of your documentaries throughout the month of June, prepping for that show. But it was just a dream come true. And Justin, I would like to say that as a young Stones fan and disciple, It honestly feels like talking with Cameron Crowe sometimes. It's really cool. Just totally fantastic. Rock and roll, guys. Just love it. Take care. Have a great weekend. And I really enjoyed the podcast from the two of you. Thank you.
Oh my God, isn't that nice?
Sweet.
Thank you, Brendan from Kansas. Thank you so much, man.
That was sweet. Thank you
Oh.
so much, Brenda. It's great to hear. It's warming and hearing comments. It's nothing about egos. It's more just assuring we're doing the right thing. You know, that's literally what it does for me. You know, it's great to hear the feedback.
Yeah, and I've always wanted to hang out with Stones people and know Stones people, you know, and this is quite a way to do it. So people like Brendan who are connecting with the material, that's all we could ever ask for. So thank you, Brendan. Hope you continue to enjoy the cool stuff. We hope to do this often. So this will just be the beginning. And you know, Brendan mentioned, you know, something that is I'm sure everyone knows who watches your stuff, Steve, that when you get to work, you get to work. I mean, the extent that you put into these videos and these documentaries is incredible. Like, what was the longest it took to finish one of these videos on, in particular, the making of an album, of a Stones album, for example?
Well, what Brendan talked about was Some Girls was 6.5 hours of documentary. I could go longer. I could go more, you know, and that, and those take, I lost, I can't even, don't even want to keep track anymore. 150, 200 hours of my time. It's just immense time. And it's because I had the passion. And that's what I started out with. What was my energy, was this passion. I got to get. So I've talked to you this before, and I'll just mention it so others know. I watched maybe 5, 6, whenever I started the Stone stuff, I watched somebody compare and say on their video, what is worse, Black and Blue or It's Only Rock and Roll? And I basically said, what the fuck are you talking about? Holy shit. And I reamed him. I hit him hard. I didn't care about any comeback. I didn't want to hear it. But because of something like that, and then I hear other documentaries, people reading off of Wikipedia. I'm saying, you kidding me? I'm walking out of here with nothing. You wasted me 10 minutes of my life with this? And that's sort of where I dance. You didn't even ask the question, but I'm saying how I started, just by those really 2 items that I said. And then the other third thing is being a Stones fan and being absent from connecting with people and talking to people for so long. We grew up talking the way we're talking, and we would hang and talk Stones like we're doing now, and they, you know, pounding Heinekens and smoking doobs and just listening to the tunes and driving into Manhattan. What are we doing? We're listening to Bed Spring Sympathy. What it was, Bed Spring Symphony. Sympathy. Anyway, yeah, we'd be listening to and we'd be sitting there analyzing, rewinding the cassette, listening to it all. Listen, what did he say? What did he say? No, he didn't say that. So anyway, that's the beauty part, and that's the fun part of the communications. You know, is getting to talk about this again, because I guess because you're not young, you're not old, but you know, you got this flavors of having some albums come out in your lifetime, right? So that's fun. That's a special moment. Just like with Hackney Diamonds, people won't realize this special week until years later. You'll start realizing, remember that. And anyway.
I remember the rollout for A Bigger Bang in 2005. So let's go into some Hackney Diamonds. What are your top 3 songs off the album, Steve?
Top 3. Oh, jeez. I've been listening to Whole Wide World.
Yeah. I'm going to call out my buddy Scott Gallupo. I don't know if you're familiar with Scott Gallupo, and I don't know if anyone else is.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, he's a great another guitar player and content creator for guitar stuff on for the Stones. And he, we were just chatting yesterday about it, and the Cockney accent is a little bit much for him, but we'll get into that in a second. But I love that song. So go on, your top three, Whole Wide World. Love to hear that.
I'm just looking at the list because I still got to get used to the names.
Yeah, I know.
Of course, Sweet Sounds of Heaven because of what it is. And like I mentioned in my comment, it reminded me of I Got the Blues.
Sure.
But I'm going to put that one aside. And then there's Dreamy Skies. Not many people like that, I'm hearing, but I just like it because of the resonator that they're using and playing. I don't know if it's a dobro or resonator guitar. Depending on You and Get Close. I mean, those just hit me right away, those songs. And how about you?
Yeah, my top three, at least today,
Okay.
they change, but I have to say I'm a sucker. I'm pretty simple-minded myself as a Stones fan. My top one right now is Mess It Up. I loved hearing Charlie, do that thing that he does so well, which is lay it down and dare you to get out of your chair, when that song comes on. It's a little bit the Stones in Maroon 5 a vibe, with that one. But it's so irresistible, and I loved all the hooks on that one.
Mix the potency of his voice on this album. I
Yeah.
It's so hard to even express in words how powerful it is. 80 years old and he's doing this.
Oh, I know. He is absolutely the MVP of the whole album. He just running
Yeah.
away with it. And so after Mess It Up, I love Whole Wide World.
Yeah.
Whole Wide World is actually my top one, and then Mess It Up, and then Depending on You. Depending on You is, it's got that great line. We were talking earlier that there are so many so much poignant lines in the album, and that makes you kind of pause and stop in your tracks and go, what did you just sing? And that line of, I invented the game, and I'm too young to die and too old to lose. That's a tough lyric. That's a tough lyric, especially to hear out of Mick Jagger's mouth.
I'm looking on it on my. I'm looking at the lyrics.
What's the full line there? Is
it's a bit longer than I thought. It's got a lot of verses in here. You stole my numbers.
Right.
Yeah, that's you shared photos. Say the
line.
Oh,
you're on Mess It Up. I mean, right? Yeah. Okay, I see.
Oh, which one were you talking about?
I was on Depending on You.
Oh, I'll go to that one with pleasure.
Exactly. I get it. No, yeah. Well, we'll get back to Mess It Up later. But that one is a little bit like it's almost like a song about a stalker. That one's a little bit scary.
Yeah. The fingerprints in the dark. Yeah, our secrets sealed in our scars. That was pretty powerful.
Yeah, exactly. And
now, what is your lyric? Which one are you looking at?
It's in the chorus of the song, and it's now she's giving her loving to somebody new. I invented the game, but I lost like a fool. Now I'm too young for dying and too old to lose. Oof.
Yeah.
That's a hard-hitting one.
Very poetic thing there. And he's telling a story, he's painting a picture.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And I couldn't help but, just for Mick Jagger to say those words, specifically the word old, I'm too old. I mean, Peter Pan himself admitting something like that and showing some vulnerability. But it's a great little play on words there. I'm too young for dying and too old to lose, which, oh my God. I mean,
because I was depending on you.
Yeah.
So how often does he depend on somebody?
There you go. Exactly right. Like
they're depending on him most of his. Yeah, really.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, totally. I mean, this song really stopped me in my tracks and made me go, "Oh fuck, this is." People always complain about the songs being a little, one-dimensional or whatever, but there it is. There's a song that says, here's a guy who's asking questions and saying some, very deep stuff. And again, coming out of his mouth, it means even more.
Yeah, in the first line, your fingerprints in the dark.
Yeah.
Huh.
What is yeah? That's very provocative.
Yeah. You don't see fingerprints.
That's right. That's exactly right. You don't see fingerprints in the dark.
Your
Um,
past and present tangle up in my arms. So there's something about some issues here. I don't know. Is anyone
yeah,
commenting on this tune?
yeah.
Depending on you?
You should look up depending on you on online to get the lyrics because it's just not the run of the mill Mick Jagger for me because like you were talking about earlier, a lot of the lyrics as of late they feel like they're a bit rushed off, but not this
Yeah.
one.
No. Like I said, the earlier ones albums, it's just what's the word I use? Contrived.
Yeah.
Everything is just forced. Here, it's like, all right, come to me and listen to me here. I got something to tell you. Come here. And here he
Right.
goes. And he tells us something and he brings us right in. And
Yeah.
now we're hooked. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have to note that this is one of the three songs that includes Andrew Watt as a songwriter.
Yeah.
We have to definitely keep that in mind. That we'll never know what parts, who wrote what, or what elements or what. But I'm just glad that this song existed.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you go back to the older songs and you go and you start asking them questions, they don't remember. They don't know.
Right.
I don't know. We were sitting in the kitchen, you know. Yeah. Um, and yeah. So you said two of them. Was there a third one?
Yeah. And then I enjoyed Whole Wide World. I mentioned Mess It
Yeah.
Up, and Depending on You. So those were my top three.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Live by the Sword. The sword
Mhm.
is growing on me. Now I mentioned in my video, I don't like hand claps and I don't like
Yeah.
some of that background singing. I just give it to me real. That's just
Right.
too again contrived. Uh, yeah. So
Yeah, I'm with you because um, that is not at the top of my list at all. In fact, it's at the bottom of the list for me as to how often I'd probably see myself go back to it. But it is like for you warming. I'm warming up to it. I think the biggest shame is I can't hear Bill Wyman very
no,
well.
no, I'm disappointed too. It's a good point. I don't hear them as much. Yeah. In fact, the bass in the whole album buried more, or
Well,
is
I'll tell you, I had high hopes, Steve, because when Angry came out, I was like, oh, fuck, this is going to be great. Because I can
yeah.
hear Keith, him and his bumbling, bumpy, jumpy bass line. It was perfect. And I thought, oh, this is great dynamics. We're going to hear everything on this album.
Yeah.
But then the rest of the album just felt
It,
like,
so so angry was, and I'm trying to remember. It was more separated, right? You could distinguish the
yeah,
pieces. These
right.
some of these other songs have a lot of layers on it.
Totally,
Yeah,
totally so. And that was sort of I don't know, not a misdirection, but yeah, I had different assumptions going in based on Angry. There was a little more space in
yeah.
the in front of you. Then all of a sudden, the rest of the album, you just feel like you're a little bit claustrophobic, a little bit.
Yeah, there's pros and cons to that because when you first hear something, like I still listen to Let It Bleed and I'm trying to pick out things I never heard before.
Mm-hmm.
And there's little things like, "Oh my God, listen to that."
Right.
So as you listen to this album, I start tuning, first the guitars
Yeah.
and the vocals, and
Right.
then eventually I get to the drums and bass, but
I
you
see.
start hearing the backup, the keys, the organ, and I'm sure everyone has their own style. So someone's saying that they hear the bass pretty well on every track. Okay, I didn't focus probably on that enough, so thanks for pointing that out. I'll have to hear that. Um,
Yeah, I hear it in more spots than others. I can't say that I've ever felt like I've gone through one full song after Angry and felt confident that I heard the whole bass line the whole way through. It kind of pops up here and there rather
yeah,
than the whole time. Um, but yeah, I think the other thing that kind of screwed with me is that you know I'm skeptical who's playing what on the guitar on this album.
I'm with you. And there was one, and I said I listened to something today, and I said I got to ask Justin Who is this playing? Is it Keith? It sounds like Keith, but it
Do you
sounds like
remember what that
Ronnie.
was?
It might have been the sword one. I don't know.
The down, 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 down. What is that? The lick is the main
Yeah,
riff of it.
I can't remember. It was one of the yeah. Anyway, I'm saying that sounds like Keith, but that could be Ronnie, because Ronnie has more of a wider range to me in leads, and he could go like this and this and this and this, where Keith, stays within his.
Right.
So that's how I listen to it and try to figure it out. But he loves his double stops and all that.
Yeah. Well, I will say, I mean, first of all, we're all, I am at least, a little discombobulated because Andrew Watt chose to switch the positioning of Keith and Ronnie on the album. Instead of Keith right and Ronnie left, it's Keith left, Ronnie right.
Okay.
Right? Yeah,
okay.
I don't know.
And it depends how you have your headphones too,
well, well, if it's on correctly though, I mean, even if you play it on your stereo, you're going to hear Keith come out of your left speaker, which is not where he's historically been.
Right,
he's
right.
always
You're
been
right.
on the right.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think, and I heard this lead coming out on the left end, so interesting. And I guess they have him in the middle too, right?
That's the thing. There's also in the middle, and to me, this is just pure 2 + 2 = 4. Like, we know a lot of these songs are Mick Jagger songs. Okay, the most of them are Mick Jagger. He brought them in probably, and his influence is there. So that would mean that he's probably on guitar on a lot of these songs. So where does he fit in the placing as well? Is he on the left too? But then that's also Keith's spot. And then you also know that Andrew Watt is picking up the guitar and playing guitar on a lot of these songs. So where is he in there? So everything is kind of up in the air. And Andrew Watt said that he wanted to replicate the sound of what it was like when you were on stage with them. But it's on stage. Yeah. It's on stage looking out, not you in the audience looking at them. Because that's the view we get historically in the mix. Is that if you're in the audience and you're looking at the stage at the Stones, you're going to get Keith on the right and Ronnie's on the left when you're looking at them, right, on stage. But Andrew Watt said, no, I want to have the perspective of you're on stage looking from the stage to the audience.
That's good. That's perceptive. Yeah. I'm just looking at this one cat's comment here. Donald Harlan. What is this about, dude? What are you talking about?
Let's see. Is it this one? Illegal publications and unlawful commercial, that one?
Yeah.
I don't know. Donald, you might be confused as to who you're responding to or where you may be watching. I'm not sure what that's about, but thanks for the heads up. There's nothing that's being copyright or infringing on copyright here. It's just two guys talking about the Stones. How about
all right, sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Any other hellos and people coming in? Let's see if Martin has a comment. I can't really describe the album because we haven't been made the choices yet. Keith and Mick have been writing together. It's all I see. This is Don Was. A quote from Don Was from 2019 is what he's putting here. This is Don Was in 2019 saying, I can't really describe the album because we haven't made the choices yet. Keith and Mick have been writing together. It's all original material, and it's really good. Well, thank you, Martin. You probably even got that from the fantastic timeisonourSide.com website. But that was in April of 2019, and basically the Stones just shelved everything they did up to that point when they started the sessions for Hackney Diamonds in the fall of 2022. So that's in a way it sort of makes my documentaries that I've put together, not as linear as a story about Hackney Diamonds, because my documentaries were about those sessions that you're referring to in that quote. But all those songs are still in the vault. Those are those songs that Keith has recently described as the gems that are still in the vault that has Charlie on them. But can you imagine, Steve, what that vault must look like now? All the sessions, all the sessions they did with Charlie since Blue and Lonesome. You know, that was the beginning of all this.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah, they got to have a catalog because they did say they had like 24 songs or something they could have used. So there's a new one, another album coming out for sure. Yeah, that catalog, they'll keep going. They'll keep going. It's for
absolutely.
sure.
Hans says Hackney Diamonds playing in the background here as I listen to Justin and Steve. What a huge pile of knowledge you got. You give us a great Friday night. Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you,
And
Hans.
it's you're part of it too. It's not just us, you know. It's definitely you guys.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Hope Ronnie write and sing a song next album. Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, what was the last Ronnie song, Steve? Pretty Beat Up
Wow. Oh God.
on a Stones album?
Yeah. You know what? I haven't even noticed him in anything.
Not as a songwriting credit. No.
Well,
Steven,
no, Rough Justice, maybe?
you mean as no, not as a writing credit. No.
No?
No, that's a Jagger Richards.
Is
singing
it?
album.
Okay. You know better than me. You were in tune with him.
Well, those later ones, you have to imagine. I took the later albums in like how you probably took in, Goat's Head Soup because you were there the first day it came out.
Yeah, it was
Stephen Fish says "Live by the Sword" was one that I was looking forward to because of Bill and Charlie. We all were.
yes. Yeah, but again, we talked about not hearing Bill as much on that one. I don't know.
Exactly. And this is another quote that Martin's giving us from Mick Jagger from recently. "Live by the Sword." That's kind of a slightly retro. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know if Jeer is another commenter on my channel, but he's a great fan too. Jeer suggested that "Live by the Sword" sounds like a song that could have come off the album "It's Only Rock and Roll." Isn't that a fun idea?
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah. There's a lot of reminders of some older tunes, but they're still their own 2023 version.
Correct.
But it just little hints of it. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Fit to be tie-dyed. Hi all. Just had my first listen to Hackney Diamonds today. Well, lucky you.
Yep, I know him.
Oh,
He's
do
good.
you? Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's in Canada. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Stephen Fish again. So what also might matter regarding the bass is how you listen to the albums. Absolutely. Speakers, earphones, buds. I've done all of those, and also the car, and the stereo, and in fact, I find that ironically, Steve, that "Living by the Sword," the bass sounded better coming out of my stupid dumb Alexa speaker.
It's funny. It's funny. You don't even adjust that, right?
No, there's no way. Oh no, it is what it is. And so I have that in the kitchen. So when I'm doing stuff in the kitchen, I like to have music.
You'll see one comment. If you could just get him out off of here, he doesn't deserve to watch in here.
Sure, if I see that again.
Yeah, you'll
guitar
see
did bass on "Get Close" doesn't sound like Keith to me. Toward the outro, it starts to get busy. Keith is, I forgot, I don't have my list with him, but Keith is on like 4 songs on bass on this album. Which is yeah.
Yeah, someone said Andrew played 3 songs of bass. I know he co-wrote and he's involved with it.
Yeah.
No, someone said Andrew played bass on all of them, which I don't think was correct.
No, that is not correct. He plays bass on 1 or 2 of them. I'm using, folks, in case you need to get all this information, I'm always going to be promoting timesonorside.com. That's a very important website, right, Steve? I mean, that is Stone Central.
It's great for me for timeline, and I totally use that as a timeline to get things started. Yeah, very nice. And is that Nico? Is it?
No, that's the Complete Works, I believe, that website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But Andrew Watt is, I think, I'm sorry, whoever put up that last comment about Get Close, but you are correct. On Get Close, it's listed as Keith Richards and Andrew Watt on bass. And depending on you, it's strictly Andrew Watt on bass on that song. And also Whole Wide World is Andrew Watt. Keith plays bass on Dreamy Skies. And it's also Andrew Watt on Mess It Up. And then we got Ron Wood on Driving Me Too Hard. So, everyone has a turn on the bass, which is so freaking cool.
Yeah, and people are saying they hear it. Okay, I'm going to go back and focus. Like I said, I am not focused totally, but I will turn it off and focus on that for sure.
What do you think of the song "Driving Me Too Hard," Steve? Because I have to admit that one is still I'm still chasing that one.
Um,
That's towards the end. Driving
yeah.
me too hard. It's
Oh
got the
yeah,
tongue.
yeah.
Hmm.
Again, I gotta say it reminds me of, but I don't want it
Oh,
to.
I know where you're. Yeah, go ahead. I know. Tumbling
Yeah,
Dice.
Go ahead. No,
The
you were.
intro.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, the tumbling dice one. Is that
It
it?
didn't, well, the intro of that song has got that Tumbling Dice intro
Yeah.
to it a little bit. But I'm sorry. What were you? Where were you
I
going
don't
with
know
that?
what I was saying. I think there's something. I think that's the song that reminded me of like a '78 outtake. Um,
Oh, interesting.
yeah,
Hmm.
and
I didn't know that.
I don't know if it's the one where he's driving through Texas. I don't
Oh,
know.
no spare parts.
No spare parts, maybe. Don't go with me right now. This I'm steering you wrong.
No,
I
no,
don't.
no. I totally, totally. I
Driving
love
me
that
to
song.
yeah, driving. It's just catchy. It's a catchy tune. It's a real catchy tune of driving me too hard. Again, I need to hear it much more. Um,
Yeah, there's so much to unpack on it.
you threw me off my guard. I can't seem to shake a grip on me. You never want to show your cards. Oh, so this is somebody pushing him
Hmm.
to do or change. That's, I think, the song that I felt that was happening.
Yeah, and um, totally. And this is one of the songs where I was telling you how there aren't many songs in the Stones catalog where you feel introspective and you want to look inward, and you're reminiscent of a relationship you had. I mean, not to say there aren't songs that do that. Of course there are, but they're few and far between. I find,
Yeah.
and this song in particular, I think was very relatable. You're driving me away. Why don't we just take a break? Where I'm heading
Yes,
to, you'll
yes.
never know. Morocco or corner
Yeah,
Bahari.
Morocco. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
but it's a very relatable song, and I think it's very sensitive. And for a lot of people, this is their top favorite because it reminds them of the classic Stones
yeah.
sound.
And the format, again, of how
Yes.
they're presenting it. And that's why I wanted, with my review, I talked about verse, chorus, the structuring, which they stay pretty similar with. The lyrics, the doors never closed. Yeah, driving. I leave it ajar. So yeah, there's good deep things in here for lyrically. Yeah, and someone just said it was their favorite song.
Yeah,
John. Yeah.
let me try to find that. There's so many comments coming in, and um, I do want to say hello to Naomi. Naomi's a fantastic commenter and follower
Hey,
of the
Naomi.
channel. I'm sure both of our channels. So Naomi, good to see you here as well. Um, uh, Ram, is it? Rome loves Dan. Hey, Justin, Steve, very blessed to have. And Naomi's here with us. Yeah, it's a great party, a great way to spend time with everyone, right?
Hmm.
Um, there's also what's great about the song "Depending on You." Well, let me also read "Fit to Be Tie Dyed." Depending on you, immediately remind me of Goat's Head Soup. Very much had that feel to it. It would have been neat to have Mick Taylor playing on. Oh man, that's a great idea. Imagine if Mick
Hmm.
Taylor played on that.
Yeah. He would put some melodic thing on there on any tune. He was just amazing. And speaking of Mick Taylor, you look at somebody who leaves a band, and what do they do after? You know?
Well, it took him
And
some time
Mick
to get that album. I have that solo album somewhere.
was the
Yeah,
one with leather jacket and
yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
and there's another one
Oh, is there?
that's a solo one. I'll look for it maybe. Anyway, yeah, his melodic guitars, and believe me, it's just phenomenal, that period of work. It's just above and beyond. Uh, you know, we talked a little while ago about Brian Jones too,
Mm-hmm.
and how the fans of Brian Jones will stay with Brian Jones and they don't go to Ronnie or Mick, um, usually.
That sounds fun.
And Brian, see, I'm not so knowledgeable with him as much, but he didn't play a lot of leads, right? He was just more the specialty rhythm harmonica.
Well, he was a fantastic slide player.
Yeah, with slides
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But they weren't really
But
a
he,
lead player back then. They weren't.
right, yeah. But I guess he made up for it for being such a flexible musician. He could almost play
Oh,
anything. He was one of those guys.
unbelievable. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
he is. I guess the point I'm making is, I don't speak enough about Brian, and
Mm.
I appreciate and love what he did to get the Stones started. So I'll put that out there.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely. I'm with
yeah.
you too. And it's because we were. I can't speak on on your behalf, but if, it all depends on the angle you come in, and the Brian Jones era is further away from me than the Ronnie
Yeah,
Wood era. you
totally,
know.
totally understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, everyone has their favorite thing. Yeah. Let's. Ronnie's my favorite Stone. Janice says. You know what? And I was getting to the Stones, and in a way, still is. Ronnie was and it still is my favorite Stone in many ways. I very much appreciate his role in the band. He's got a very special role, doesn't he?
Totally. His chemistry is unbelievable. What a guy to have at the party.
Yeah.
He's on stage. You just trust him, and you
Right.
that's the thing is you listen to even the albums, the '90s albums.
Right.
Listen to his guitar work.
Right.
He's working his ass off.
Absolutely. I
And
was. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, no, no. I was just going to say his recent live albums. The blues
Mm.
one.
Mm-hmm.
They're all wonderful to get. Highly recommend. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, I love the Chuck Berry one. I think that's my favorite one.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyway,
Um,
so
you know what? I was thinking of Ronnie recently and the dynamics. Yeah, Hans, good point. Ronnie inspired It's Only Rock and Roll. I wish he would do some more stuff with them recently. I mean, poor guy. He always says in interviews that at sessions he always has a couple riffs in his back pocket just in case
yeah,
they look to him and go, "Hey, you got anything?" Poor
yeah.
guy. He's always ready and going. It's that always
Hey,
a team
Negrita.
player.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Evidence A.
yeah.
But I was thinking of Ronnie and his dynamics in the band. And by the way, if we can maybe talk about this a little bit, then folks, we're gonna go right back to the live messages. But make sure you pay attention to the ticker down below. But if you want to send Steve and myself a hello, or you want to give your review of Hackney Diamonds, yeah, look down below. You're
Where
gonna
is it?
see the
There.
there it is down below in that blue line down below, moving across the screen. It's a website you go to called SpeakPipe, one word, speakpipe.com/hangfire. You hit record on the red big button that enables your microphone on whatever device that you're on, and you will be able to send us a 90-second message. You don't have to use all 90 seconds. And you can say hello, and we'll play the recording live here with everyone. So be mindful of that. Your voice will be online forever because this will be turned into a video after the live stream is over. So anyway, I was thinking about this, Steve. Ronnie in particular. Because you're talking about, it's amazing, this band, right? Because they're all like sponges. They all react to one another. They're all reacting to one another, and their antennas for each other's energies are so sensitive, and they can pick up things about each other so well. That's what makes them so special.
Yeah.
And when Mick Taylor was in the band, you could see Mick, bounce off his work, Mick Taylor's guitar work. It was like finally the band had two singers. There was Mick Jagger and Mick Taylor.
But
you know,
melodic. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then that went away. And so people often wonder, well, then what did you gain? You didn't gain much with Ronnie Wood, but what they did gain was all this energy. He's got this unbridled, he's like a little puppy dog,
Yeah.
And so I really think that Mick really feeds off Ronnie's
Mm-hmm.
energy a lot. I think Mick really responds to that and really enjoys that Ronnie brings this extra charge to the music.
Yeah. You're totally on key right there. Especially like I remember in the '75 tour when I talked about that.
Mm.
Mick basically told Ronnie, "You don't mind me coming and playing with you, do you? Do what you got to do. That's a team player.
Yeah.
You look at the '75 tour, all those antics he does with them. Um, And what do you do when you see them on stage and banter with each other? What your smile? All you do is smile, and
Right.
it's so wonderful to see that. And with Mick Taylor, you didn't get that as much, but
Right.
musically, you're saying your point is they worked off of it. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's my favorite thing about watching them is that seeing that camaraderie, and that's what makes the music, special. Stephen Fish, everything's turning to gold, and Dance, I believe, where Ronnie co-writes. Yes, Dance Part One is definitely a riff that
yeah,
Ronnie brought in. I love everything's turning to gold. I think that's great. I think this comes from us asking earlier what was the most recent Ronnie Wood contribution to the band, and I believe that was off 1983's Undercover. There hasn't been anything recently since as a co-write from Ronnie
mm,
recently.
good.
But if anyone can correct us, that would be very cool.
Yeah,
Let's see. Yep, there it goes.
pretty beat up. Yeah,
Romulus Pretty Beat Up. That's a good one. Steve Jordan is the new engine, isn't he? Though I mean, he's adding such an energy
yeah.
to the proceedings.
I told you my story, which I guess in November, me meeting Steve.
What's
Like
that?
you, I told you the story last time. The one when you show our
Yeah,
interview that we did.
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh
I
huh.
told you about Steve, so I guess the folks will have to wait for that one.
There's a preview.
Smoking with Steve. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's. You want to hear some messages that we got in,
Go to it.
Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so hopefully we have two more to listen to. So this is Dan S saying hello to us.
Hey, Justin. Hello, Steve. This is Dan. Um, I'm so thrilled to be hearing you guys talk about the Stones. And as Steve commented, it reminds us of times when we used to spend hours talking with our friends. And I want to give a shout out to a special friend who unfortunately is not with us anymore. My friend Vito. He was like our Stones godfather, the older, cool kid on the block with the Mach 1 Mustang who got us all into loving the Stones and shared his stuff. So, they actually helped a lot with our journey. But I love the dynamic, Justin, having a different timeline perspective is excellent. And these discussions are the kinds that we need. And, all these opinions are valuable. I had a quick question. I typed it in, but what do you guys feel about incorporating more Keith vocals into the background vocals? I think Andrew Watt might have missed an opportunity to do that. What do you guys think? I love when Mick and Keith sing together.
Thank you, Dan. That's so kind of you to call in. We love your comments. Thank you, Dan. Hope you're still
Yeah.
here listening. That's a good question, huh, Steve?
Yeah. Well, yeah. He has a good point. There's not enough Keith backing vocals on any song for me. I'm a Keith guy, so totally agree with him. We got shortchanged with it. To Dan's point, when I listen to a song, I'm in tune with the vocals of him being back up. So there's nothing like a Jagger Richard backing duo with that.
Yeah, and this is the first album since Steel Wheels that had just one. No, that's not true. That one had two Keith songs. So what? We're going all the way back again to under. Did Dirty Work have just Sleep Tonight or not Sleep Tonight? What was it? Dirty Work or Undercover only had one Keith vocal on there, didn't it? Because every album since then has always had at least two.
Somebody tell us. I had quicker than me. That's for sure.
But back to the Keith thing. We do get some nice harmony vocals on "Tell Me Straight" on the new album. Do you remember that moment, Steve,
Yes.
where during the chorus, fantastic harmony there, and also on "Dreamy Skies," some
Yes.
great harmony vocal between the two guys, which
is Keith. But I could have sworn I heard Keith singing his own backing vocals. On Straight.
You know what? I remember you mentioning that, and
Yeah.
I'm convinced that it's Mick only because of his signature over pronunciation, which happens on the word on the lyric "true" when he says "true" at the end. What's the lyric? It's It's I'm wondering if and I find out just need a little time just to clear the mind and find out if it's true. You can hear Mick go, and find out if it's true.
Or
you know,
you, somebody saying you. That
yeah.
he okay, yeah. I'm gonna listen into that too. And his other point, so I grew up with the Stones in the '70s. And I know there's people who've done it in the '60s, and you know, but it's the older guys who turned us on. It's the brothers of my friends who turned us on. They had all the records, and um, you get the turn on from these people. And in the '70s, these guys were deep, deep dudes.
Yeah,
And when
I
I mean
bet.
deep, I mean they were Bowie, Lou Reed, New York raw guys, Stones, and they followed them drug wise. How about we just say that? And but they would turn us on to the younger kids, like into the Stones. So I know exactly what he meant, and I do have one of those friends still with me. Thankfully, I'm sorry to hear about your loss, but you always remember, and when you hear the Stones, you think about these people, and
Sure.
that's what I do totally. So I'm with you.
I'm trying to catch up with the comments so I make sure everyone is represented. A lot of people showing some love for the song Driving Me Too Hard, which is so cool. That's actually one of the songs that go back to the 2015 sessions that they hung around, which is why I think I have issue with the song. I think I would love to hear the version with Charlie on it if they recorded it then. They were working. I think that would have been the cherry on top.
Uh-huh.
Rome Loves Dan, Driving Me, Keith tune. He should have done the lead vocals. Yeah, that would have been that's a great idea. Rome Loves Dan. I imagine that a nice, because Keith doesn't get to sing some songs like that, where it's a little bit swinging like that. Like it's a Mick vocal, but Keith would have, I think, nailed it too.
Yeah, we love those alternate takes when we hear a Keith singing the Mick song or something. Oh man,
Oh,
it's so good.
absolutely. Sal mentions Andrew on backing vocal on Driving Me Too Hard, which is cool. Let me try to get to more comments. John says, "Yay, Dreamy Skies, Angry, and Sweet Sounds are top for us. Waiting for the vinyl copy to give us more, especially on the Charlie tracks." You were
Waiting for
lucky.
the vinyl.
Yeah, you got your vinyl on time, right, Steve? People had
I
problems with that.
I ordered it off the Stone site, and then I looked at it and it said, "You'll get it within 7 days." And I said, "No, that ain't happening." And I went to Amazon, and it said, "Delivered on the 20th." I said, "There you go," and it was $5 cheaper.
Oh,
So
lucky. Good for
yeah,
you.
yeah. So
Uh
and then as far as distribution goes,
huh.
was there problems you know of?
I don't know myself, but it seems like there was because everyone seems to have had issues. I mean, I couldn't expect to go into a record store to pick it up. Amazon at some point on the day of or the night before said, "Oh, yeah, you can order, but you won't get it till the 30th." You
Wow.
know, I know. So I don't know if it had anything to do with where you lived or, that kind of details, but it seemed like it was all over the place. People were getting them late, but I don't think there was a guarantee you could get them on the day of.
So it seemed like pop-up shops, which I don't think they were all over. Manhattan had it, and
Yeah.
L.A. had it, right? You
Yeah.
you went to the L.A. one?
Yeah, I went to
Yes,
the
I
LA
saw
one.
you do that. You drove down to L.A. especially for that?
Yeah, I sure did. Yeah, I sure
Wow.
did. When in Rome or when the Stones are in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
so
it's
did
fun.
they have a good volume of the album, or did they have a good quantity?
Well, I tell you, they only had one version of it, which was the Carnaby red vinyl version.
Okay.
The Carnaby store. That's their brand, their
Yeah.
specialty store, right? And they have their own version of the vinyl, which came in a Rolling Stones tongue red color, and that was the only version they had. By the way, I wanted to only get, I wasn't going to fall for all the colored version, so I only wanted the black regular standard one. But they didn't have that. They had the red vinyl and the CD digipack, so that was the only
Oh
choice. So I said,
man.
well, I know, very strange.
So
Yeah.
you wanted something to go listen on the way home, though, too, right?
Yes, I did. I eventually picked up this. Actually, it's the alternate version. It's Kid Super is a designer of this one. This is Hackney Diamonds, but this is the alternate version cover by the
that's
artist.
neat.
Yeah, that's something. It's based on fingerprints. Isn't that
Okay.
weird? Yeah.
So this marketing department had a field day, right?
Oh my God.
Can you
And
imagine? Just like it's an open door. Let's go here. Let's go there.
right, and I have to say, I don't know if you read this article that someone interviewed the marketing person from the team, and they said they're expecting this campaign to continue throughout the year, so they're not done.
Right.
This is just
Right.
beginning. This is a comment from Diego. I have up. Hi guys, the song "Get Close to You" sounds so similar to "Too Far Gone" from "Goddess in the Doorway," especially in the way Mick sings and phrases the lyrics, the feeling in the song. Yeah, I can hear that. I also hear a little bit of "It Won't Take Long" from A Bigger Bang.
So, I mentioned how I said you hear little pieces of other songs, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's really purposely done.
No,
Yeah.
no, I don't think so. I mean, everyone has a brand. Everyone has a personality.
Yeah.
But that's how it goes. I think we should probably note here that Steve, that we're at the hour and 10 mark.
Oh.
Yeah, so we should probably think about winding things down fairly soon. I don't know, about probably another 20 minutes at the most or so. What do you say?
Yeah, whatever you want, I'm with you.
Well,
I'm sad I gotta go home, but then again, I'm going to work. On
Oh,
Beggars
man.
Part 3.
That's right. Okay. Well, in that case, yeah. See, folks, we don't want to keep Steve from the work that you all love, because it's all working for you. He's working on a extensive documentary on Beggar's Banquet right now. So can you imagine that's coming up? This is part 3, right?
Part 3, and this one is right now 2 hours and 15 minutes in, and I probably got another half hour to go. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I just do what I got to do. If people like it and don't like it, I'm happy with it. I know you'll like it, so you and I, that's good enough for me.
I can't wait to talk to you about it. Let's listen to a couple more messages, folks.
Yeah.
This is your last chance to send us a hello and a message, because we want to wrap up in the next 20 minutes or half hour or so. So if you're interested to say hello to Steve and myself, or leave a review for Hackney Diamonds, put in the link into your browser, speakpipe.com/hangfire. And then you can see that there's a way to record a 90-second message to us, and we'll play it right now, right here on our show, and say hello. And mind you, your voice will be forever online once you do submit it. So let's say hello this time to Alan from Round Rock.
Hey, Justin and Steve, you guys are amazing. This is Alan from Round Rock. Here's my thought for you. First of all, Mick Jagger is phenomenal in this album. And then the other thought I had for you is I'm wondering about Mick Taylor. They brought back Bill Wyman, who was great. We've got Paul McCartney. We've got Elton John. I mean, there's just a lot of incredible people. But the one person who kind of stands out is Mick Taylor. Why do you think they didn't bring Mick Taylor back? And would he not have added to a couple of the songs in a really incredible and wonderful way? What's your thought? Thanks.
I love Alan. Alan joined us last time. He's so much fun. Thank you, Alan. Good to see you back here again. We were kind of touching on this before, but you think it was a missed opportunity to not invite him for some songs?
Mm-hmm. Yep, totally. It would just been even that much better, but maybe the second one that they're going to do, maybe he's on. I would hope so, really hope so, because 80 years old,
Yeah.
How much more is in there, to think.
Why do you suppose that there was a reason why he wasn't invited?
Well, let me ask you a question. There wasn't any hard feelings. When's the last time he performed with them?
2014.
So it's not too long ago, right? So there's probably no falling out or anything in between.
I don't think so. I have read that in passing, but I don't know if that's proven. People like to assume things.
Yeah, we know that Mick has been on stage with Ronnie, right? In one of the live albums Ronnie did,
right.
Mick
Exactly.
is with him.
Right.
We know Mick is performing with, is it Carla Olsen? She's another, so, and yeah, I doubt he's injured. I doubt he's incapable. I mean, I doubt he's down. So is it? It's a real hard question to even answer. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they obviously brought in Bill. I don't know. I don't know if they had as strong as a. My understanding was that Taylor was always kind of a distant fellow.
Yeah.
And he was not exactly as, however you want to describe it, but their link was not as intimate or as close as someone like anyone else. So I don't know if they always found a distance between them and Taylor.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, the more I'm thinking about things, I'm thinking, but they invited him on stage, to play. Yeah. If they really.
And he was on Plundered My Soul. The Exile bonus, the bonus songs.
Okay,
on
so they brought him in the studio. Was it 2011 or something?
Something like that.
Yeah. So it's. I hope we hear something. That's all we could say. I don't want to go down the negative trail, but
right.
Let's still give it a chance, because that would just put the icing, and you don't have to do any more for me. To hear a Taylor, Richards, even Ronnie, all three of them would be unbelievable to hear.
Yeah, I know. And Camille says Mick Taylor would have dressed it up for sure. Yeah, Janice says, "Is there bad blood with Taylor?" It's hard to say. I mean, no one that we would trust information from would confirm that. No one wants to fan any flames like that. But it does raise the question: why isn't he on here? On the same level, Mick could have also been like, you know what? Okay, this isn't a time machine. We don't want to go all the way back.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it could have been just, hey, it's the three of us right now. That's it. We'll bring in Bill. Fine, that's good. Do that. And that was Andrew's decision, right?
Yeah, that's right. I believe he suggested it. I think he called. He said you should call him. John here says, "Steve, all your documentaries have been fantastic." So
Thank you, John. I appreciate that totally.
Stephen Fish says, "I don't think there is bad blood. They had 2 tracks with Charlie. Andrew had the idea to call in Bill." There you go.
Yeah, there it is.
And
no guitar weaving. The one before it, Camille says, "No guitar weaving with Ronnie and Keith on this album." I think they're. I think I heard some.
Well, I tell you, it depends on what your definition. Yeah, I mean, weaving like in the sense of Beast of Burden, where they're going in and out and they're swirling in,
and you don't know who's who.
Yeah, you don't know who's who, and there's a lot of air in Beast of Burden, right? And in this production, it's just so jam packed. First of all, it may not be guitar weaving, but it's a fucking guitar fest. This album, isn't it? It's just fucking packed to the gills with guitars.
Yes. It's those layers and layers, and then you peel them, and you just keep peeling them, and that's why it takes so many listens to get in here. And there's so much more ahead for us.
Absolutely right.
Ahead. Yeah,
absolutely. Guitar did 77. I did read him grumbling. The press when they were opening a Stones museum. It was after he did the 50th shows. I don't know if he was angry that he wasn't asked back and made a permanent basis. That's interesting. If he was upset that he wasn't asked back, I think that would have been a very I don't know what the word is, optimistic idea for him to be expected to come back. I don't know, Steve. I mean, I think we know that. I don't know if they hold grudges, but I think Keith is like, once you're sorry, you decided to leave. You're out. You're out.
He's like an elephant. Yeah, that's Keith. I think they're in good, like I said, because he jammed with them, so they wouldn't bring him in if they didn't want him at all.
Absolutely right. Steven says there's another album coming. Maybe, like you say, Steve, perhaps MT will be on. You never know. Might be. I mean, that's nice. That would be a nice little trick they have up their sleeve for the next album, because it's safe to say they pulled out a lot of tricks for this album, right? Taylor should be on there more than Andrew Watt, perhaps so. But you wouldn't have it Hackney Diamonds without Andrew Watt.
Right.
So what can you do? How about this? Maybe Mick Taylor plays too loud. Well, I will say that I don't know if you noticed this, guys, but when Mick Taylor was on tour with them in 2013 and 2014, it was a lot of fun to watch him on stage playing with them. But oftentimes you'd see him look back and beg the guitar techs to raise his volume, give him more volume. He was having trouble listening. He was always doing this,
Interesting.
Yeah, and I figured that he was just, not accustomed to playing in this realm. It had been a while for him at that point. A big room like that, with a band like that. He's used to playing by himself, not by himself, but in a smaller club.
Yeah, we talked about both seeing him at a small venue, right? You saw him at a small, yeah.
Exactly. Right.
To keep talking, I just want to pull that album out 1 second.
Yeah, that'd be great. While we're here, let me say, continue putting up comments here. Janice, hello, good to see you again. Here, I want to say hello to Mark. Also, Chuck Leavell isn't on any of the tracks from Hackney Diamonds. He played on every album since Undercover except for Bridges of Babylon. You are correct, Mark. Bridges of Babylon. Chuck Leavell was not on this album, and Daryl Jones as well was not on the album. They apparently were not available at the time of them putting the session together, so they had to make do. On the album, you have bass responsibilities shared between Keith Richards and Andrew Watt and Ron Wood. They all kind of come together to kind of do the bass lines. So it's still taken care of.
This
Phillips Chuck sucks. Oh, okay. I don't know. I definitely don't have that one. What year did that one come out? Looks like 80 something.
90.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think it's all backwards, probably, right?
No, I think you can see it. Yeah. I can't read it too well. Let's see.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I see Stranger in This Town. I Wonder Why. Laundromat Blues. Red House going down. Side 2. Oh, he does Jumpin' Jack Flash. Look at that. Yeah, then Little Red Rooster going south. You Gotta Move. Oh, that's cool. Who was on that? What is it going on? Blondie's on here.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
So, this is one you don't hear about too much. I also got to throw this one out, and people, I'm sure they don't forget about it, but this one is amazing.
Yep.
This is amazing.
Yeah. And Steve Jordan produced that. And, it would have been nice to have him, probably him and Keith I bet you, co-produced it. But Steve has always been sort of in that helm on his solo stuff, right? But it would have been nice to have Steve Jordan have a hand in the production here. Not that it needed it, but
I don't know too much about Andrew Watt. I just know he's the guy to go to right now. He did the Iggy Pop. Who else? Who else did he do?
He did Elton John. He did Ozzy Osbourne. He's of course worked with Miley Cyrus, and then also what's his name?
McCartney.
Not Carl Malone. Carl Malone. Yeah, he worked with Post Malone is his name.
Okay.
I was watching a basketball documentary recently. Anyway, so so he's been around. He does current modern things, and he also does. He knows, and in fact, he's very close friends with Elton John. Apparently, he and Elton John are very close, and I don't know what project they work together on, but maybe he sees Elton as a mentor of some sort. I don't know, but it's pretty cool. Thank you, Sal, for that nice comment. Appreciate it. It's fun being here. It's hard to imagine. We're already almost at an hour 30. We have to wrap it up pretty soon. It's pretty cool. Let's do one more. We have one last message for us that's in the recorded messages. Let's say hello to Paul.
Hi, guys. I just wanted to thank you for doing this. There's a lot of stuff out there on the web right now, and a lot of them are really just bandwagoners trying to get views and clicks and so on. And it's really great to see two guys who are truly passionate about the Stones. I was born in 1959, and aside from the first 3-4 years of my life, the Stones have been really there all the way. And I hope people realize how special it is that they've been able to keep together all these years and to come out with some fantastic music that we're getting on this new album. And of course, with this prospect of more to come. Anyway, I just wanted to interject that into the conversation. And once again, thank you for putting this chat together. Really enjoying it. See you soon.
Oh, very nice. Thank you, Paul, so much for joining us and sending us a nice message like that.
That's sweet. Thank you, Paul. That's wonderful to hear. It's 59. I was born in 61, so close to him. And in fact, the guy who turned me on was born in 59. But yeah, that's great. It's great to hear from you guys. And also, Justin, I just have to give kudos to you. I know you're new in starting all this, and you just come aboard, and it's wonderful to see you have so many subscribers and people tuning in. You have a podcast, and you really are wanting to touch people and help educate, to share, and it's wonderful. And you play guitar, right?
Yeah, play guitar.
Yeah, so you have some good knowledge and good background. So it's wonderful that there's certain people who I would do this with, and it's definitely you're on my list for sure.
Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you, Steve. And yeah, I'm glad that we were able to connect to do stuff like this, and there's more to come because we can do this at the drop of a hat, couldn't we? Just chat.
Yeah. We can't overdo it though. No. Because you got to keep the keep it a little alive. It's a little mystery to it.
Yeah, but Paul mentions a great point that it's amazing the Stones are still here, and that's what's so amazing to experience. That's why there's a lot wrapped up into this new album. Not only is the album fantastic and stuff, but it's just great to see these guys do what they do, and they're loving what they do, and the fact that they can do it, it's amazing.
Was it Jimmy Fallon's thing where keeps saying, he goes, I can't do anything else. He said, like he was saying, when you work in a hardware store or something, he goes, I can't do anything. And it's just hilarious. So, as musicians, you always wonder what, I wouldn't have the energy and focus to practice that much as some of these people did. And that's what it took. He and Brian were in the apartment, that's all they were doing. It's everything. That was their life, and he says he plays every day. Yeah, and
it keeps you young. I mean, music is something else. It interacts with something else, another area in the brain. So it just keeps you limber in many ways. Rome Loves Dan says, I see a beautiful Stones people, Steve and Naomi, Justin and Steve, and chat members. Great talk. Well, thank you. That's so kind. We're gonna start saying goodbye here, folks, because it's getting late for everybody, and everyone has got to go back to listen to Hackney Diamonds.
Yes.
Stephen Fish says, I just got the digipack, so I'll probably have an unboxing of that. Well, good. We'll look forward to that.
Thanks, Stephen. Thank you.
Yeah, great support. Why don't you tell us, people, before we go, Steve, where to find you and what to expect on your channel when people go visit there, in case there are new people who are just seeing you for the first time.
You're all welcome. It's the channel. It was started out as a vinyl community, and you'll see, I don't know, a couple of hundred of videos of vinyl records that I buy, I turn on, and I always want to do a turn on. That's what we're doing now, is turn ons. And discussion. So that was one part, and then I started just wanting and sharing, because I have editing experience, some documenting experience, video experience, putting things together as projects, and that's where it came from. So I like to do the documentaries, and what else is best to do is something that you have a passion for. So my documentaries I do on the Stones albums. I started out with one, grew to another, and it's just expanding. So I said I might as well go through whatever I can. And you will see Beggar's Banquet Part 3 coming up next. I can't give a time frame. I would hope maybe 2 weeks or so would be the third part of Beggar's Banquet. And it's really in depth. I'll let you know that there's there's some certain people that I didn't know about that partaked in there. They're not known people, but there were key members who had experience, and they have books that are out, and I knew nothing about them. So there was some cool insights from these assistant engineers. Philip Kaufman is another guy I talked about, who was sort of the caretaker of the Stones when they were in LA. And he's the guy who burnt, cremated Graham Parsons and Joshua Tree.
Oh, boy.
Phil Kaufman. He was also the guy who took care of the Stones when they were in LA. So I talk about him. I talk about, they took him to see Ray Charles, and there's a story I talk about that he shared. So I portray that. Fun stuff. Brian Jones and Jujuka, a whole insight there. There's like a whole loads of things. I really went down a few rabbit holes I didn't expect. So that's the insight and sharing of Beggar's Banquet 3. And
Wow.
I do talk about, I don't even I'm not going to go there. I do have one special thing I'm doing. I'll just say some donators have been helping me out tremendously, and I am going to be doing a special project for them for sure. And that'll be around the corner. I will say it has to do with the 1972 tour. There you go.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh my God, that sounds fantastic.
STP, yeah.
Oh,
In
geez.
fact, I will show, this book is not out there, but this is a tour book. He took 20 years, every show of the 72, 73 STP tour he documented.
Oh
So
my
I
God.
talked to him and I told him I was going to interpret that on video for him. And this is actually a test book. It's not a real book you could
I see.
buy out there. Anyway, so
That is super cool.
that's what's in my hat there.
Yeah, well, I can't recommend it enough, folks. If you're interested in the making of and the background on some of your favorite Stones albums, you would have to go to FlipSideCT's channel, because he's got some mega documentaries on some of the big fucking albums, and they're deep dives. You hear people say the word deep dive, but this is a deep fucking dive. You're in the world, and you've got this great voice narrating the documentaries, and it's just super fun and super informative. It's absolutely just every 2 seconds there's a new piece of information. He works hours and days and months on this stuff, so it's all worth it. So with that being said, let me say goodbye to some folks that are here. Yes, Steve.
Also, don't forget, we want to know what you have in store.
Oh.
And also, I didn't finish. I started listening to your interview with Brockus, and it's
Brockus?
wonderful.
Anthony DeCurtis.
DeCurtis, Brockus.
Oh.
Anthony DeCurtis, yes.
Oh yes. Thank you so much for that. It means a lot. That one was I'm still kind of shaking over that one. That one is absolutely.
It's wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you so much. That one kind of made me very, very nervous, and he was so generous and so kind to sit with me, and we were just geeking out, and it was a pleasure. He was. I can't never repay him for that. But thank you for that. But up on our channel, we've got a bunch of, we're sort of in Hackney Diamonds mode still, so there's going to be some cool, more discussions and more reviews for the Hackney Diamonds coming up this weekend into next. There's going to be more stuff coming, so I'm sure everyone here is a subscriber. So if you're not, hit subscribe. But and also in November, you're going to see Steve again, because November I invited Steve to join me to talk about the album Undercover. Next month marks the 40th anniversary of the album Undercover, if you can believe it. So the whole month I'm devoting a lot of videos to Undercover. So you're going to see Steve and I come back to talk about a bunch of stuff around that time, because we all touched a little bit about it, and I've kept some of that footage on some of the videos I've been working on. But you're going to see a lot of that and into the rest of the year. So definitely interested. I hope that's interesting for you, because the stuff is going to keep on coming. It doesn't stop just because Hackney Diamonds is out. The party continues to go on and on. So with that being said, Steve, any final thoughts before we head out? I do want to say goodbye to some people here before we do.
No, it's great to have everybody here hang out. I wish we were all, visual, but to see you in little circles with your initials and stuff is fine, good enough. You're typing away. and you're hanging in with us. So I really appreciate it all. You know, it's all Stones talk, and we have a
Yeah.
great host. So thank you, Justin, again. That's all. And one Steve Fish says about this podcast for 72 Party. Yeah, I know about that. I heard it. It's well done. You know, and it's good resource material for me too. Anyway.
Yeah, Stephen, thank you so much for being here. Philip, John, Camille, Rome Loves Dan, Mark, John, Moniz, Hans, thank you so much. Janice, thank you so much. Really appreciate everyone hanging in with us. And Kirk, thank you so much for being here. But we're so appreciative that we had such a great audience and a great group of people to hang out. Warren, thank you so much. Mark, thank you so much. Sal, thank you so much. This was a great pleasure. Sorry I didn't give much of a heads up for this live stream, but the right people came in, and we're going to do it again. So keep an eye out for either one of our channels, and we'll announce it again. So thank you, Steve, and thank you, everybody.